everybody, and welcome to the wonderful world of Nestlings. This is just a nice 30 to 60 minute strategy game for 1 to 4 players, and it's gorgeous and has two of my favorite mechanics. I have to say, I fortunately get to work with this designer at the college I teach at, so I just can't say enough good things about the designer, Brandon Omi, but also this game. So this is a sneak peek at what the game is going to provide and what it's going to offer gamers. Okay, so let's just take a look at the board because this is a really central feature. It's a beautiful, beautiful board with all these different biomes. You've got the grasslands in the center, desert, alpine, freshwater, savanna, and you'll actually see here, there's also these bags, and these bags have these little critters in them. So the savanna has all these different kinds of food that you're going to want to provide for your nestlings because every player is going to be one of these birds, and you're going to get this bird board. So for example, the rosy finch lives in the mountain or the alpine area, and so they're going to feed their nestlings with alpine resources. So I've got strawberries here, there's flies and moths and all kinds of stuff that my nestlings really, really want to eat. So you're going to be gathering resources. You are going to be trading them in for special opportunities or feeding your cute little birdies. So that is what you're going to do in this game. Now, the core mechanic here is dice rolling and placement. So for me, this is just a really delightful mechanic. I love dice worker placement. Now, it's not necessarily going to be the traditional. This has kind of like a spin or a twist on it, and I really, really like it. So players are going to have 4 dice. They can unlock the other 2, but they're going to roll their dice, and they're going to have these symbols that show. You've got I rolled 2 deserts and I rolled 2 mountains on my roll, which means I'm allowed to place here in the desert. You definitely start on the leftmost side because the way you win a biome to get priority, to get initiative draw of the little critters is by being the leftmost, but also you must be the most dice. So we take a look at first the most dice, which means you can place in the same space again when it comes your turn, saying, I really, really want to go first. I want to lock it in. And there's a space for every player. So I am never going to place my dice like this. That's illegal. That doesn't make any sense in this game. So on my turn, let's say I place this desert die, and then the players are going to go around placing a die into freshwater, alpine, savanna, desert, or grasslands. And then it comes back to me and I say I really, really want to lock in that desert. Maybe it comes back around, I'm going to put my die up here in this alpine. Now I can place this die in the grasslands because any die, even the blank side, and actually only the blank side, can be put in the grasslands, and grasslands kind of just pick up anything that's left over after all the other little critters and flowers and cool things have been selected. Now, we're doing all of this. I'm going to leave that guy out there. Plus, you get first player next turn if you're the first person to go in the grasslands. Really, really good opportunity. So we're going to be grabbing these resources, and another really interesting feature to this is that the first player is going to resolve the area by taking a stack, and a stack can have 1 or 2. And these are just drawn from the bag at the beginning of the round. So that has another feature I really like is bag drawing. And you reach in, everybody gets to do it too. Like everyone just grabs a bag whenever it's time to set up for the next round, which there are 4 of. So I get to take, let's say I take these wasps. I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them in my player area, and I'm going to find the segment that matches that particular image, and I'm going to start building it onto my board. So I'm going to stick it right there in that board area. And once I've completed a unique resource from the desert, and I fill in all these spaces, I'm going to get to activate one of the 2 bonuses that are on either side. And that goes the same for your savanna, same for alpine, and then same for freshwater. So you're getting these resources not only to feed your birds, you're going to be gaining these gathering goals. These are going to be public objectives, and they're going to require a certain number of resources and a certain type of them. But you're also going to be working on this dial, this biome dial that you are filling in for bonuses. It is just honestly the coolest thing. It's so smart and it's so intuitive. And now here's the kicker. I went first and took these two. Now it's up to me as the first player to go. I look at what's left and I take one stack and put them back in the bag. So that means the second player to go, and maybe even the third or fourth, is going to look out here and they're not going to have as much to pick from. Now it might make sense to take away two of those grasshoppers, but maybe I'm looking over and I see second place person really wants to get this snake, or they really want to get that caterpillar. So you really have to take a look at and assess what your other players are doing. Let's say I take these guys and put them back. Yes, that means, okay, now I'm going to have second player and third player. Now I've got this set up for 3 players, and you know that because there's always going to be at least one resource for everybody if you go here. You always put out one more different types of critters as there are players. So this is a 3-player setup. So my second player, let's say they take this one. My third player, they take this one. Now let's say there's nobody else who went in the desert. That's where the grasslands comes in. They, after everybody has resolved these outer biomes, are going to start nabbing up the leftovers from whatever region they want. And that's also just a really, really cool feature because you can put any die there, even those blanks, and you can stack them to make sure that you get priority in the grasslands. So this game is just really, really tight and it's locked in. I love the dice rolling feature and the dice placement, which is 1 die per turn. Starting with the first player, will place out 1 die. Next player, back to me. I'm going to go again, and we're going to place out all of our dice, and then we're going to resolve taking all of these resources like I showed you. The other thing too is there are these personal objectives. These are nest goals, and they're going to ask you to go for one or the other, and it kind of gives you a variety. Well, maybe I'm not getting so many of these flowers, but maybe I can nab up a bunch of these caterpillars. Or maybe I need to get some of these guys. But you look at one or the other at the end of the game, and you're going to receive victory points based on how many of those that you have at the end. So there are personal objectives, there are public objectives, and then you're of course going to be feeding your nestlings, and you're going to be earning points for feeding those nestlings. And you also get points for nabbing up unique resources in all 4 of the biomes. You have a bird ability too. There are going to be these wonderful bird minis in the finished product. I don't have them right now. This is kind of a prototype. It looks amazing for a prototype, by the way, but it's a prototype version, so it doesn't have those minis. But the minis are going to be able to activate each round for a special activation bonus. This is just a nice, again, 30 to 60 minute strategy game. It's 4 rounds. I have played this in a 2, 3, and 4 player, and it is just a lovely balance of working on what I want to work on, but also vying for all those shared resources, because you're looking out there and you're just waiting and you're just like, oh my gosh, if they take those strawberries, I'm gonna cry in like a good way, because you really, really need those strawberries for whatever reason, but other people are needing those resources as well. So I just love how this works. It's really, really balanced, and I love the back drawing with the resources. There's actually a wild in here. It's a little worm. Aha, here it is. So that little worm acts as a wild when it comes to fulfilling one of the public objectives, when it comes to feeding your birds, when it comes to selecting what wedge you want that to be on your personal dial. And that is really, really interesting. Every biome has 1 wild, and so there's a chance that those are going to come up in the game. Okay, so Really, really fun, lovely. Again, there are just some really thoughtful choices here, and I think the artwork is just going to be dynamite. I love these little bits for the victory points because you're going to earn those points throughout the game, and then there are a couple things you can earn victory points for at the end. But I do know that this is going to be a super cool, souped up version, so when you check it out at Kickstarter, you're going to see the dual layer bird boards so that your wedges fit in. You're going to have just really cool specialized dice that roll. For example, if your bird is the cactus wren, which is yellow, you are going to have more of the cactus symbol that you're going to roll, which makes it more likely for you to roll and be in the desert so that you can earn food for your babies, for your nestlings. And that makes a whole bunch of sense. So there are 2 on that side. Then you've got the 3 other resources, and then you have the blank side. There's also going to be a feature where you can re-roll your dice and where you can select the side of your die that you want for a small cost. On the side of your board, you've got these victory points. These are going to be opportunities for you to manipulate your dice. And so there doesn't ever feel a chance or a time where you're just totally stuck and you can't do what you want to do, and you're going to be getting resources, and hopefully it's going to be the ones that you want. But when you take your turn, it does feel satisfying, and there is just that right amount of tension that you need in a board game where you're sharing those resources and you're trying to vie for initiative to be able to draw first from that particular biome. I think Nestlings is cool, and I know for a fact it's getting cooler because there are these small adjustments that you make when, of course, any game is going to production that just make it better and more interesting and more strategic while still providing a lovely light strategy game that is super family friendly and adorable. I think the artwork again is just dynamite. So if you are a fan of, I'm going to say 2 games. Now, I'll say Wingspan for the birds because the birds actually function the way they would function, and all the different critters and like grass and fish and spiders and flowers are all related to the biomes that they are in, which I think is just really smart. It's thematically smart and accurate. So the birds are there, the artwork is there, and then the other game that I really enjoy that has that dice worker placement is Discoveries, and I think the artwork there is just stunning. I love Discoveries so much, but I think that also has that dice worker placement feature. And again, I love reaching in bags, so great resource management game here along with that dice worker placement that I think has a little twist to it, which is the dice stacking. All right, folks, thank you for staying tuned to what's in this game, what does Nestlings have to offer, and why you should be very interested in checking it out. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.